Yes, welcome to Underground Radio. I'm your host, Shayna Maud. In the building, we have Kirby from Kirby Entertainment.
Kirby ENT, we in the building, baby.
Yes, William Speaks on the beat. What's up, William?
William Speaks on fire. How's everybody doing? Good morning, Denver.
Good morning, Denver. We got Negus JR Music.
Negus in the building, Negus everywhere. Good morning, Denver.
Yes, good morning, Denver. Stay tuned. Listen to our awesome single. Yes.
You see these stormy weathers molded us. We mother nature's
D, not the sultry radio voice.
Our ancestors in the slave ship.
I hope you guys can hear this live on my feed. The songs that are playing right now. Please let me know if you can hear it. If not, I'll send you the link on Facebook when it's done.
Roll the dice, here's a chance to give it your all, bruh. Cause life's a gamble and the scheme
William
of it
Speaks on the
all.
beat.
We all live and we die, but really who's had it all? It's a facade.
Yes, today we're talking about some serious issues. We're talking about the Flint water crisis today. What we have going on in Denver right now, the movement. Flint water trash. Mr. President, why won't you answer when I call? Oh, they can't hear it on my feed. Okay, Glenn and Shirley, I'll send you guys the link on Facebook. I hear it in my microphone. This is just the impromptu live. Thank you for tuning in, though.
The blood-soaked swords that we tread upon to get along. The difference between our tones was never a mystery. But why should you look at me funny? Fuck with me differently because of my color. Remember Game said they spending 30 million on some airplanes, and still that shit gets to me. Cause literally, there are kids starving and pistols barking. Niggas talking, my man is star switch. I'm cool and calm shit. I'm with the squad and we dissolve it.
I'll send you a link, Alright guys, I understand we can't hear it on my live feed, but we're live on the radio.
We're live on the radio right now.
Live on the radio.
Hear it on my feed. We live.
So I'll send you all the link. But stay tuned. We're talking about some good stuff soon.
And then that's it, fam. Mercy non-existent. Bring my shit to president. What's really going on? And why my people die every time I pick up the phone? And Flint water trash.
Yes, they so raw.
Mr. President, why won't you answer when we call? President says what's really going on, and why my people die every time I pick up the phone. And Flint water trash, no defibrillators.
I love the comments going in right now.
Why won't you answer when we call?
Make sure y'all go on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon.
I want to hear what we're listening to.
Type in William Speaks with a Z.
Yeah, William Speaks,
William
Declaration
Speaks with
on
a Z,
Spotify.
man. Declaration. It's the new biggest single out that we got right now.
Yep.
Y'all get ready, man. We got a lot of new information for y'all. We ain't new to the game. We true to it.
We call for you.
Awesome. Welcome, guys. Good morning, Denver.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm your host, Shayna Maud, in the building.
Yes,
one more
and
time.
Your boy Kirby ENT in the building, man.
Kirby
JR Music in the building.
Yes.
Your boy, yours truly, Mr. Carolina Kid, William Speaks. How's everybody doing? Good morning, Denver.
Yes, good morning, Denver. Awesome.
I appreciate the love y'all show out here. Like, it's crazy. Everybody is so nice out here. It's my first time out here, and it's crazy. Like, everyone is just magnificent. So, shout out.
Thoroughly enjoying blowing dope everywhere I go. You can't do that shit in Arizona. It might be medically legal, but you can't just smoke outside. Like, you got to have all kinds of permits and licenses for all that shit. All the extras going on.
All the extras. Okay, awesome, guys. So we have a lot to talk about today. We don't have that much time. We only have an hour, so we're just going to get right into it, okay? Mm-hmm. So in the building today, we have Kirby from Kirby Entertainment.
Yeah, I'm in the building. We live. We live, baby.
Yeah, so Kirby, can you just tell your audience why we are here? What is the movement? What is our purpose? What is your why, Kirby?
My why.
What is your why?
Man, my why is the youth community. That's the why right now, man. The community and the youth, man. We're doing something that's called bridging the gap right now. So, we're trying to bridge those gray areas in everyone's city, everyone's situation. It's the biggest movement right now. We want to bridge the gap. Right now, we in a real controversial time in life, and if this struggle ain't causing us to band together, then I don't know what is. So, we bringing something that's positive and that's gonna make a change that's beyond just a year or two. A lot of people playing 10 years in ahead, so this the next 10 years, this is something that's gonna be around. We got some real talented people a part of the team. This is a really elite team of experts. You know, so yeah, man, we got a lot of knowledge to drop on y'all. We got JR Music in the building. We got William Speaks. He just dropped a new single that's dedicated to the Flint water crisis that's going on. We need to bring some notoriety to things that's still going on in America and not focus on things that's out of our country right now.
That's true. And the thing here is that focusing on home base, you got to think it affects all of us because we're here right now. So it is going to affect everybody in some way, no matter what walk of life you're from, you know, where you come from. It affects all of us in the end. So we all got to have that awareness when it comes to that.
Definitely. Thank you, Kirby. And William Speak. So you just dropped a new single?
Yes, Declaration.
Yes, please talk about it.
I'll go a little more detail into it because you said it was about the Flint water crisis, but it's about so much more than that. If you listen to the song and you catch the words, I speak about, as well as the Flint water crisis, the injustices going on across America with all of the deaths of not even just Black Americans, but Americans in general. We just found out about the shooting at Rolling High. A bunch of rappers got shot at. Some of them got arrested. Feds got Kodak Black. Like,
it's crazy, man.
The death of Nipsey Hussle, very impactful event that's happened in the last couple months. Like, it's sparking unity. And of all things in the Black community that you think it would not, because of the stereotypes that America has made for us, gangs are banding together, uniting because they see that we need to stick together. That unity is what we really need right now. I feel like through the words of something as Declaration, we can find that unity, we can find that common ground, and as a people, as America, we can come together and really rise above.
Yeah.
We're at a really detrimental time right now. Like, crime is at an all-time high. We have cities without clean water. We have abundances of homeless people through random cities, and like not even just any city in particular. Every city has their homeless community.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's blocks away from the billions of dollars that stand in the center of the city. You could be, you know, they set it up in a way where as a tourist, you kind of look at it and you're like, oh, this is awesome. But then you walk a block away and there's poverty, and it's crazy. Right in the shadows of all those billions of dollars.
Yeah, like they're literally just building around the people. The people have no place to go. Like Denver specifically, the amount of homeless people in this city is really ridiculous, from veterans to children.
And I feel like the system's failing them too. Like,
the system is failing us, especially the government in Denver. I don't think they're on the homeless side. They're not.
No.
They're not.
No. And if you look at it, it's a lot of common factors in all cities, no matter what walk of life you came from. Because, you know, homeless is right now is all shades of color. You know, you got the white, Latinos, African Americans. I mean, the rate is really high right now. And if we had a movement, which we have, that just started with, you know, in each city, you know, bridge that gap, man. We got to come together. And how we doing is through youth, community, and poetry. So, you know, we're going to give y'all all the information on how we actually making that change.
And you know what, Kirby? So I want to kind of talk about this. So for the folks that are tuning in, we keep mentioning bridging the gap. So we are really focusing on bridging the gap with the youth and the community through poetry. So Kirby Entertainment is the first poetry label. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, so that's correct. So why a poetry label and not the traditional rap, hip hop, R&B label?
It's the culture that poetry come from. You know, we are the culture. It's a way that we use to express ourselves, you know, and the way that we can get our voices heard. Poetry is about the literature. You know, it's not about a beat. It's not about, you know, it's a freedom of speech, you know, and it's really the artistry of who's the artist, you know. It's really what you create, you know, and that's why I chose poetry, because right now we need something that's going to have a message that's beyond a beat, that's just beyond a wave. You know, we need to come together and go back to our original roots of this, of what we was given naturally. You know, we praying for wood and we got trees here. You know, so we need to go back to the roots of the originated where we at in America. And poetry is a great way, you know, to capture a crowd of people to actually hear you out. You know, it's a really relatable topic when you get to poetry. You know, you can have joyful tears or bad tears from what you hear with poetry. You know, and it brings out an emotion that's it's raw. You know, it's a raw emotion when you hear a poet, a good poet. And if you ever realize when you go to someone that's spitting poetry, we don't even clap there. It's snapping. You snapping. You know, and I think that's major instead of clapping. You know, for us to be there snapping when we hear something good, and that's amazing. You know, so poetry is definitely why we're using this platform for our voices to be heard right now.
Yeah, I feel like poetry is like soul food. There's so much there's so much nutrients and so much flavors you can get out of poetry. You know, a lot of the music that you hear, it lacks substance. And what I like about hearing really good poetry is you get that seasoning with it. You know, it's not bland. It's something that you can take it in, you can absorb it, and you can learn something from it, walk away with something from it. So it's awesome. I love poetry. Yeah.
I mean, speaking as a poet myself, I mean, I started writing poetry, you know, Kirby, 10. You know, my mother was a poet, her mother before her. It's always just been a part of, I don't want to say who I am, but just my legacy. I'll put it like that. Yeah. You know, I love writing poetry. I've swayed away from it a little now that I'm an artist, but my poetic essence is still in my music to this day. Like, I'll never forget going to poetry slams back in high school and going to audition for Brave New Voices, and probably the best poetic memory I've ever had is all those nights of poetry and pancakes. Yeah. Used to be a part of this organization called LOUD. It's an acronym for Living Out Your Dreams. And we used to do an event every second Friday of the month, poetry and pancakes. You pay $5. You come here. A lot of dope slam poets. Some people recite poetry, either their own or other people's. And we serve them pancakes for free.
That's awesome. That's a really good incentive.
It's a really good way to reach the community. Like, they're getting food and they're getting some food for thought. You know, it's only right.
Yeah, and like to piggyback off of what he said, you know, you want to touch a lot of senses when you're dealing with anyone. You want to be a part of, you know, the food, which is your taste buds senses. You know, your ears is listening to quality. You know, you want to touch as many senses of what you see when you're at an event with us, an experience. So going back to what he's saying, man, that was a great marketing idea to have, you know, the quality I was delivering and pancakes. You know, it's a great idea, man. Yeah.
And you know what? So this whole movement of just bridging the gap through poetry, I think that's a beautiful idea. For one, like you said, people don't, especially these kids today, and I don't want to generalize, but there's a lot of music out there that in my head is just trash, to be honest. There's a lot of noise. The words I don't understand half the time. So it's like, I feel like we're failing our kids through this system, especially being Black people. We were the first poets. We were the first ones to actually like have this creative, you know what I mean, intuition. The platform, exactly. And I believe throughout the years, throughout big business, throughout just like special interest groups, we've been hurting ourselves and we've been hurting our legacy as a people, as a culture. And I'm not just saying that just for Black people, but that's my experience.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, when we met over the weekend, the biggest word I told my team this week was legacy. And I said, what do y'all want to be remembered for when it's all said and done?
I think about that every day.
Yeah, and this is for the live listeners, you know, what is your legacy that you want to be remembered for? And just going back into what you were saying is, you know, we in a hip hop community now where we only glorifying drugs, sex, and everything to, you know, to devalue our kingdom. And you know, they're making us rich on the outside, but really we taking less value away from our culture every time we on, you know, all these reality shows. Love of Hip Hop is really just exploiting us in a very negative manner. So when people finally get to deal with with someone that's really down to earth with morals, they don't know how to react to us because they're going off of just TV. So and then, you know, the youth is just so lost because, you know, a lot of people are reciting these words and there's no way they can understand what's being said because no way in their life in the youth community you have been in that situation to know exactly what you're reciting. So it's a mind thing. You know, what you think is what you're going to become. So if you're constantly listening to Poison on the radio, which they are glorifying, and in schools, like right now, the suicide rate is doubled. You know, there's a lot of things going on, but it's through music. Music connects, you know, good music can connect you back to a memory when you was young. Any points of your life, just like when you get when you get around someone, they might have a scent of a lost one that's gone, and it takes you back to that memory of them. Yes, it's the same thing with music. Music will take you back to either a high or a low, in the middle. And when you're thinking about it right now, the music that's being put out there, it's just not the music that I think our culture need to embrace just to show that side of us. So, you know, if we can, you know, and a lot of artists have started off with poetry. They just didn't know how to make the funds off of it. Yeah. So this is what the hip hop game comes in and say, hey, you know, we can glorify this, you rap about this, and we'll give you the meal. You know, if you're in a situation where you need that money, what are you going to do? You're going to take it.
You're going to take it.
You're going to take the opportunity. You got to feed your family. You're going to rap about what's the trend, what's common, you know.
What they're paying you for.
What they're paying you for.
Yep. It's the colonization of I call it the colonization of the genre. That's basically what it is. You know, you bribe gold and whatnot, and you're going to take it if you don't got it, just like you said.
Yeah.
And then now they can skew it in any way they want, you know. Yeah. If they want to push violence, if they want to push you notice a lot of the music you hear now, it degrades our women.
Yep.
It degrades our community. It gives us this, it just makes us look bad.
Yes.
And what's crazy too is you have a lot of people who are not really from the culture or not from the community who now also want to emulate it as well, thinking that that's who we really are when we're much more than just what they show on the media. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really especially in sports too. Like, and I don't want to get into sports, but it's kind of the same story.
Yeah.
You get all these athletes who come from low income families. They have to survive. So I don't like watching TV, but one show that Kirby and I have been watching is All American. So basically, just kind of tells that story of the black guy, super powerful in whatever sport he's in. This sport happens to be football, and throughout the story, you see certain people getting bribed with money from these colleges because it's like, oh, we're putting all this money into this black boy's hand. Now this black boy could go buy all these material things. This black boy could go support his family, but they have to conform to whatever they're supposed to conform to. But that's literally our story throughout my lifetime, and it's just really sad. So it's time to change the narrative.
Yes.
Speaking of that too, it's also, I see it also as like a plot to also bring the money out of our community, because you got to think a lot of the stuff that they push now, the material stuff. Oh, Rolls Royce, you got to get a Benz, you got to get Gucci.
Gucci don't even like us.
Yeah, these are all European. You know, it doesn't go back into our communities, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yes, we go and aspire these things, and we might become financially successful to get these things, and that money then goes out of our community it goes to Italy, or it goes to Europe, or, you know, wherever these companies are based out of. None of that money trickles back in our community. Just a fun fact: we have $1.2 trillion in spending power as black people in this country. We have $1.2 trillion in spending power. I actually read an article. I don't know how true it is, but just at the rate how money circulates within our community. In our community, money does not circulate for a long time in our community.
Nope, it doesn't.
If we make money now, it goes out of our community within a day or so.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just really crazy. We have to also teach through our music and through our art, through our poetry. We got to teach the youth and teach just everyone in our community how to invest back into our community and build our community. Other cultures do that all the time. We just have to learn about that. You know, we have to push that through our music.
Just to piggyback off that, a lot of other ethnicities, it's like, you know, if you're 21, you're supposed to be graduated through college, credit already established, business started. And they said, oh, well, if you're not successful by, you know, 23, 24 in that area, they in their ethnicity, you failed.
You failed.
Being black, if you're 30, not in jail, employed, not dead, you're successful. You see the difference? We have to wait till we get to 30 to say, okay, I'm still alive, I'm not in jail, and I'm here. You know, so that's the difference of where we need to break these boundaries, because we're not having enough resources, you know, and we're not teaching how to be asset rich. They, you know, the things they're glorifying is keeping us asset broke.
Asset poor. Yep.
So when we dying off, you know, and a lot of the times when you know, and not to go too far off a subject, but it's mind blowing to me that a lot of people that I see with a lot of materials in our community, when they die, they got the nerve to have a GoFundMe account. It blows my mind that you got all of these chains and belts and material things, and then you don't have, the average funeral is like $9,500 to bury someone, $95,000 to $11,000. You know what I mean? So I mean, I know if it's real material, it costs. So for us to not have something to pass down, not to have a life insurance policy, not to have anything to help the next generation, it's crazy of what's really going on in our community.
Yeah.
You know, it's really sad, you know, that, you know, we have no resources to know what to do, you know?
We're taught to invest in depreciating assets instead of assets that appreciate. So ownership is important. Owning land appreciates over time. Land will always appreciate. Real estate, for the most part, will always appreciate over time. You know, businesses are a good asset. The thing is, we have to start thinking more long term. Like, yes, the facade is cool. It's good to have an image, but at the same time, what are you passing down to the next generation? What will your kids be able to inherit from you? Because the thing is, you gotta think. You want to give your kids a head start as well in life. You want to make sure that black excellence is passed down, where once your kid gets to a certain age, you can just pass the torch and they can carry on that family legacy.
Yeah.
Going back to legacy that we were speaking of, we got to think about how we want to, you know, create a legacy for ourselves. What do we want to leave behind? What we want people to think of us, but also what we want our community and our families and, you know, whoever around us to benefit from as well once we're gone. Whether it's passing down some sort of an asset, whether it's, you know, passing down some sort of an influence, or, you know, we want to just think about what we want to leave behind for our community.
Yeah, and I personally think, I think our biggest assets are our people, and that's why we need to be unified and together. And I actually want to go back to William. I want to go back to Declaration and this whole movement. I want us to kind of go deeper into that conversation right now. So let's just start with the lyrics. Mr. President, what's really going on?
Well, obviously, when I first heard this beat, the first thing I thought of for some reason was the first few bars of the song. And brothers dying every day along the boulevard. I can't even begin to explain, just in moving from my hometown, the amount of times that I've gotten phone calls from someone that I know, whether I went to school with them or it was a family friend or someone my dad knew that's either passed away from just a shoot by or like a drive by, like someone shooting at the school, someone getting tased by police in our hometown. I'm not even going to get into that. Like, death has just become way too common now in our society. And Jacks dealt for kings and queens to spar with, notice the monarchy. I tremble at the thought of hierarchy trying to stall me, a rising star seeing a couple heavy showers from where I be. Now, we are from Beaufort, South Carolina, me and Mr. Kirby, ENT. Where we come from, Beaufort, South Carolina used to be a slave port way back in the day. We're talking 1800s, maybe even further back than that. It is still very much old territory. Racism is still a very big thing in the community, and there's really nothing being done about it. The gentrification in America, just across America in general, it's happening and it's very prevalent. Even just being here in Denver and going through the communities that I've been through, seeing a lot of places with beautiful murals, because this is a beautiful place for art so far that I've seen. I haven't even hit Santa Fe Art District yet, and I've seen so many beautiful murals. We captured a lot of them in the Declaration shooting, thank God. A lot of old businesses being torn down to be replaced by apartment buildings and
office buildings,
bars, such trivial things, when we could be using those things to give back to the community, to give back to these homeless people who have nowhere to live, have no food to eat, have no clothes to put on their back, wearing the same things day in and day out. Going back to the whole Flint water crisis, we found a spot when we were shooting a video that was actually in the process of being either renovated or tore down. And they looked like they were working on the sewer system there. We found a community out here of brand new, fresh built houses on a nice stretch of land. They don't even have clean water because of whatever reason. Something is going on with the sewer system, whether they are like trying to re-irrigate it or fix the pipeline. But that's just like Flint. They are going with bad, not good cleaning water. Water is such a prevalent thing in life. Like, it is a force in nature. It can destroy and create.
Yes, it can.
Water is the source of life.
Yes, it is.
Like the healing component, so to speak.
Yeah.
And obviously, like I said earlier, the death of Nipsey Hussle, a very big issue. It caused a lot of controversy when it happened, caused a lot of people to unite, caused the black community even so, in a sense, to unite on a I don't want to say global scale, but just that I've seen across America, because I've heard of gangs in New York, gangs in Baltimore, some gangs back home, gangs in Atlanta, gangs in Chicago. It's just everyone is coming together because they see now that this is a time of chaos and we need to stick together, and that's what we need, and that's what we're trying to do through, like Mr. Kirby ENT said, youth, community, and poetry. We got to reach the youth and the community through poetry, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do with this song.
We got to.
And you got to think too. It's been for years. It's been pushed that we have to be divided.
Yep.
You know, you gotta kind of look over your shoulder and compete with your brother or whatnot, or your sister. You know, you've heard the saying "divide and conquer."
Yeah,
that's been the plot from the get-go. The more that they can divide us, the more they can the more they can control us and conquer us. So we got to definitely think more unified.
And going into what JR just said, one line from the second verse. Now, why should you look at me funny, fuck with me differently because of my color? That is as plain as I can say it. There is no reason why a black man should have a harder time going into a business, whether he's seeking employment or trying to seek their services, and have a harder time than, let's say, a white man or a Latino woman or any woman of any race, really. Like, there is no reason why that barrier should be set. I don't see color. I see you for the person that you are. I see you for the person that you are. It's not about the color of your skin. It's the content of your character. I'll go ahead and quote MLK right there. That's some real shit. To go deeper into what we were talking about earlier, the line that comes immediately after that. Remember, Game said they spending $30 million on some airplanes, and still that shit gets to me. Because literally there were kids starving, pistols barking. Again, going into the death everywhere. They're spending millions of dollars on things like airplanes and building these apartment complexes and building these bars, tearing down all these old black neighborhoods to just rebuild whatever they feel is going to make them the most money.
They care about a church collapsing or being destroyed in a whole different country. Sending how much money?
Too much for us to count.
Yeah, they sent way too much money over to France. Too much to count.
I want to say it was like 70 mil or something.
$70 million to France for this cathedral.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. But we can't send, $5 million to Flint?
Yeah.
We can't. And on top of that, aren't they evicting homeowners who can't pay their water bill? Why would you pay your water bill and the water's trash?
Exactly.
It makes no sense.
What's going to happen is, they figured that, I think the most problematic thing is that they expected the people in Flint to either had died off by now more than the number. I feel more than what they expected. They expected us to be killing each other more because we're more angrier. So right now we're dealing with poison that's going into our body and poison as soon as we walk back outside. So right now it's like they're going to keep washing us on out of there. Because Flint, in Detroit area is like the Motor City. They got a lot of things going on out there.
Resources and things.
There's a lot of resources out there. So it's like y'all gonna push us out of that community that's downtown, that community that's really in the neighborhoods where
to rebuild it for them. Colonization.
Colonize
it's like 50%
it.
black people in Flint.
You know what I mean? They're going to, and then soon as Bob or Tom comes and move in the neighborhood, the next thing they're going to do is, now we got clean water. See what I'm saying? And it's crazy. It's crazy that the problem is that in our community, and I'm only talking to us in African American community, I'm just only speaking to y'all in this message right here. We tend to get insensitive to people problems that don't pertain to us immediately. Because we struggle so much in life in our community, it's almost like we look at the next person and say, oh well, I went through something there, you're gonna be all right, they're gonna pull together because we're strong. We're only as strong as our last game. It really. So if we had more of us on a global level that can come together, like when you go in different states and cities and a lot of other cultures, no matter where they at, they all still have a mecca for where they connect to, and it's like a general message to everyone. You understand what I'm saying? It's normally a general message.
It's an awakening going to the Mecca.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like for us to have not come together, over these years on a global level to make sure that these places that we, and even going back to when Houston was underwater, for us not to have band together all as one throughout the United States, it bothers me. You know what I mean? It bothers me, and that's where the Bridge the Gap movement came from. You know, I paid attention to so much of the problem to where now I know the resource. The resources is getting that gray area in the middle from no matter what walk of life you at, and coming together and making a change within your community. You know what I mean? And that's where we need to be at modern day. We can't we can't be mad at what done happened back years behind, because that just wasn't us. You know, when someone asks me, you know, who's your favorite basketball player, I don't like quoting people I didn't grow up watching.
Right.
I really don't, because I wasn't able to witness that. And it's almost like, you know, the older people, they went through a whole different structure of experience, because, you know, the baby boomers was taught to be hard workers, humbled, and pretty much, you know, conform.
They had a better economy at that time.
And they also, they really don't understand, like, you know, they really had a better economy than where we at right now. You know what I mean? So, you know, we're only talking about modern day issues when we're talking about a movement that can impact the world, you know? And they can't kill all of us. You know what I'm saying? They can't kill all of us off if all of us come together. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And guys, that's why we're really pushing the agenda of unity. Like, obviously, the world has been pushing the agenda of us being torn apart, divide and conquer, like Mr. JR has told us before, but we need to be unified. We need to come together. We don't have as much time as we want, because we could be on this radio show all day. So I want everyone to kind of just give me their why. So JR, can we talk about you and your experience as a Black man, where you are in your artistry and your life right now?
Well, I mean, it's a crazy adventure. I mean, you know, as a Black man, my experience as a Black man in America, you know, on the corporate side of things as well as on the music side of things, it's tough. It can be tough at times, because you feel like you have to prove yourself 5 times more than your peers. In any aspect of my life, I feel like I'm always having to prove myself a lot more, just to get that recognition that I need. I have to work harder to get that recognition that I need. And sometimes I might not even, you know, get recognized as much as maybe, say, one of my other peers or whatnot, or, you know, but I feel like I've always had to, it feels like it is a war zone in a sense going out. And I don't want to sound like over dramatic, but
it is a war zone.
You know,
it is a war zone.
Yeah, but
spiritual warfare, physical warfare.
But being a Black man in America, it feels like you have a target on your back at all times.
At all times.
Because in the workforce, or, you know, in the industry, it feels like there's always somebody preying on you, somebody trying to exploit you. You know, you go out into the world and you have people looking at you a certain type of way. And it's not that, you can't blame them either, because it's just how they've been taught. You know, we all kind of been taught stereotypes of each other, you know, of different walks of lives. Like, okay, these people do that, so you probably should keep a distance. So you can't really blame them all together, because that's just what they've been taught. And unfortunately, you know, you have people like that walk through life with these beliefs and with this mentality, prejudging you and whatnot. So as a Black man, you know, the stereotypes that they've put out about us, it feels like I have to prove myself that, okay, you know, I'm not that, or, you know, I have to kind of say that, yes, there's more to me than what you see on TV. I'm not a thug. I'm not, you know, a gangbanger. I'm not like, you know, I'm not just what you see on TV. I'm much more than that. I'm as capable of doing the same things that you are capable of doing. Yeah.
And just to piggyback off that, a lot of things that you're describing is a lot of ethnicities, hatred, racism is really from lack of understanding. You know, that's really what it comes down to. So when I hear someone's racist, or, you know, or they treat people a certain way, I really look at them really ignorant, because it's really just a lack of understanding.
Yeah.
It's a lack of resources, you know, and some of it you can't blame, and a lot of it you can blame. You know what I mean? Because I've took the time myself to understand culture, anyone's culture, you know? So if I'm able to understand someone else's culture, they can do the same for us. So with going back to the poetry, we're awakening globally everyone through this poetry movement, because we have to be able to talk about something so we can educate the ones that haven't had the opportunity to be educated. One thing I know about poetry is, and even just being in Denver, it's not just a black thing. It's not just that. It's a lot of white poets. It's a lot of different poets. And
it's
even
very diverse here.
It's very diverse.
Super diverse.
So for me to actually be able to, see a white poet and hear what they're talking about, I've been blessed in life to have some white friends that I've really been close to all my life. And, a lot of other cultures, they haven't really went through the struggle from birth that we really went through. So, we look at all of these suicides and random shootings and stuff, and we be like, in our community, we kind of laugh at it like, you're not going to catch a black person shooting up no school. We laugh at it, but it's sad because in their lifetime, they haven't went through what we went through. And the one time they actually experienced a little bit of an eviction notice or that deadline, their minds is like blown. Like they're ready to go jump off a cliff. They're ready to go do something that's just like, yo, that's terrible that you would go to that extent because you never been in a situation. And it's really sheltering America because it's like, you're giving half of America this sheltered life and then you're giving us half of it like with a very bad struggle. And then when two of us meet almost in that gray area, they don't know how to react to our aggressiveness because of what we have to handle ourselves 24/7.
Yeah. From what I've noticed too, I've been fortunate enough to experience both sides of the spectrum growing up. Because I've lived in poverty and I've lived in times of opulence in my family. So with my perspective or with what I've experienced, I got to see both sides. And I can tell you that both sides struggle to some extent. Now, it may be different. It may be the difference between, being evicted versus family and marriage issues, because that happens a lot, even in upper class communities and whatnot. And across every race, because there are upper class blacks and upper class Latinos and things like that. So through my music, like the experience that I want to push out through my music is universal. And, the music that I make, whether it's poetry, I'm a singer as well, whether it's singing, I want everyone to kind of feel at home when it comes to listening to my music. Like you can relate to this, you can kick back and you can vibe to this no matter who you are or what your background is. But when it comes to struggling and whatnot, and I definitely do agree with you, a lot of the people who have been raised sheltered and whatnot, they don't understand, they're not mentally capable of processing hardships. But then also on both sides of the spectrum, whether you're in the lower class or whether you're in the upper class, everyone faces some sort of struggles. I've seen marriages get torn apart in upper class where you think everyone's happy because they have the money. Money isn't everything. But, I've seen families torn apart because there was some sort of a struggle there, either maybe infidelity or maybe communication issues, maybe, disconnect between the parents and the kids. Everyone struggles differently.
And you know what, JR, speaking of your music, I do want to play your music for our show. Okay, so what song should we start with?
Well, I'm a singer, so I'm gonna start you guys off with something a little bit more R&B sounding. Waves. Waves is basically about just being in the moment. I'm a smoker. That's why I love Denver. I love Denver. But Waves is just basically you just being in the moment, living your life.
All right, y'all. Waves.
Awesome, guys. This is Waves.
We're giving y'all some exclusive content right now.
Yeah, and for our live feed, you can't hear it.
Live feed.
You can't hear the music, but
it's that chronic.
It's that chronic.
Right.
Make sure I want to go tune in and get it.
Yep, tune in and get it. Nice. Beautiful, beautiful.
Get on up and move. This your favorite song, girl. Move your body bumping groove. We been feeling low, but it's Friday afternoon. Yeah, we gon' party all like we ain't got nothing to lose, nothing left to prove. Alright, live and learn. Lagging sleep, but I finna earn this paper. Get this paper. Fuck them haters, we the greatest. Feeling great about the day. Happy every day. Dream on the horizon. I can see the winning plays. Alright, how life. Biggest smile, feeling quite a life. You can't try to break me, you can't take me, you just made me come back harder now as the days fly. Hit them harder with a straight mind. I ain't got no worries, ain't shit blurry, this my stage line. Oh yeah, baby, get that roll, yeah. Try to feel them waiting now, trying to feel
Okay, I'm killing it. Had a dream, now I'm living it. On the road like a small kid.
This is real smooth, JR. This is real smooth. Oh my God, I can't wait for you guys to listen to this.
On cloud 9, ain't no coming down. I'm so hyped up when no one's around. Yeah, I'm cruising, I'm riding, I'm smoking, I'm vibing. Speed limit non-existent. Yeah, I'm feeling quite defiant. Ain't accepted in by the cool kids, well loved by the new kids. When I'm about to lose it, roll this doobie, make this
You'll hear
music,
it
and
once
I
I send you the Facebook link too. I'm only live on Instagram. It's great.
Try to feel them waiting now, waiting now. Try to feel them waiting now, waiting now. Baby, let's just smoke. We just gotta smoke.
That's
We just
JR.
gotta smoke.
Vocals are beautiful.
We just gotta smoke.
And y'all know I'm a fake singer. It's beautiful.
We just gotta smoke.
Fake singer means she's at the
We just gotta
open
smoke.
mic.
I really
The open mics.
I appreciate y'all. We just gotta smoke.
Now I'm a real singer.
Yeah.
That's soul.
Yes.
That's some soul right there.
Oh, this is beautiful. Good job.
I appreciate that.
All right, guys. So we have about 5 more minutes. I do want to kind of talk about some upcoming events that's coming up with Kirby Entertainment, with everyone that's in the building. Kirby, if you want to get us started on what the viewers should look out for in Denver specifically.
All right, guys. Right now, we are May 29th. We got a poetry and reggae event at Rocksteady. That's 2100 Curtis Street. Also, we got a new radio show coming in June, so y'all be ready, man. We gonna turn up for y'all. Make sure y'all follow all our social medias, man. We shooting videos for artists. We looking for poets. We looking to work within the community. If y'all got
Connect the city.
Connect the city. Y'all got anything going on that y'all want us to assist with, man, give us a call. Make sure y'all come to May 29th. It's going to be phenomenal. We got the Original Woman headlining. We got Hakeem Furious. He going to be out there giving us some nice poetry lines for us. I can't wait to have that, man. William Speaks. He got a new single out called Declaration. Y'all make sure y'all go tune in. This is the most powerful message. The most thing that y'all can do for us right now is share that song, stream it, add it to your playlist, keep playing it over and over. Declaration is going to bring the awareness to our community that we want. So we got to make sure that, you know, we have y'all in tune to that. And I'm going to let William Speaks kind of, you know, tap into what he wants y'all to know real quick.
And also be on the lookout for that video for sure. Also look out for the Carolina Kid music video. That's going to be dropping soon. JR and I will definitely be back in Denver for more endeavors, more performances, more radio interviews. I'm definitely coming back to blow some more dope.
I love it here.
I love Denver, man. The people out here are great too.
Yeah, the people, the weed, the culture is like, it's crazy how diverse it is out here. I love it.
Make sure you guys follow us. You can follow me, Sir William Speaks, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. On Facebook, you're going to find me at William Smalls or William Speaks. My IG is going to be Speaks on Fire. That's Speaks with a ZONFIYA. And it's at William Speaks for Twitter. Follow me on Spotify. You can find me on YouTube, Google Play, Amazon, performances, music videos, all that shit. Go ahead, drop your shit, JR.
I'm Negus JR Music. You can find me on IG, Negus JR Music, Facebook, Negus JR Music. Add me on Snap, official J Rizzy. Music is everywhere where music is played. Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, God Sonar coming out. And shout out to Godlike back in AZ. That's our
Godlike?
The Tribe.
The
Hunter
Tribe.
James, True Bars, King Dank, Devontae, the whole family. Like, we're a unit. We move as a unit. Shout out to Kirby Boy Entertainment for having us out here in Denver as well. We building that bridge. We bridging the gap.
Yeah, man. This is the most elite. I'm humbled to work with y'all. Y'all have really gave me a rebirth of just energy. And I just want to say this live. This group of individuals that I'm working with is the most talented individuals I have worked with in my whole entire life. Literally. I'm humbled to have y'all a part of this movement. I really want to just say thank y'all for coming out and working as hard. We've been working since Friday morning off of 2 hours of sleep. Every day we've been up from 7 a.m. to about 4 o'clock a.m. working.
Single day.
I'm just humbled to be here. We have a really hard working A&R, Miss Shayna Maud. She's behind the scenes working very hard. I wouldn't be anything without my team. And I just want to say thank y'all for being around and working as hard and being as passionate for yourselves. And I just wanted y'all to know, be on the lookout for a lot of new content. I'm looking to connect our communities. This is why it's King of the Underground. We have to have some network to where we can get everyone connected and underneath one umbrella. So like I said, be on the lookout for a lot of new material that we're dropping, guys. My mind is blown at how creative these people are that I'm working with. You know, I've been in the industry for about 7 years now, and I just never ran into a group of individuals like you all. And I just want to say thank you. My cousin William has came long ways, man. I've been around this guy from birth. He's been a poet since I can remember. So to see him here in this far in his career and being here, and I hope this is leading by example, that, you know, family is everything, you know, and unity, and doesn't just mean blood. You know, family is the relationship that you have built. And I always say I'd rather have loyalty than love. I would rather have loyalty than love. And I've been loyal in my entire life to people around me. And, you know, we are loyal to each other. So I just want to say, man, be on the lookout for all the new material that we're dropping. I don't want to feel like we got to keep connecting to y'all. Y'all got to connect to us in a way too, you know. So if you're eager to work, come out and be ready, man. We're supporting the community. We're here for the youth. You can follow us, keep in contact with us, poetryandreggae.com. My contact information is Kirby_ENT on Instagram. Facebook, you can follow me at Kirby_ENT Kirby And email me anything y'all want to have in my email is KirbyGlobalENT@gmail.com.
Yes. Okay, guys. So, like I said, welcome to Underground Radio. This is our first episode here at Sphere Studios. I do want to shout out Chris from Sphere Studios.
Yes.
He's been amazing. Denver, if you're ever in Denver, come out to Centennial, come out to Greenwood Village, whatever city, whatever you want to call yourself, come out here to Sphere Studios. Chris has been amazing. He's been allowing us to really do our thing here. No judgment, no questions asked, no nothing.
Question.
He is the best person to work with out here as far as having the studio space. Like I said,
Shout out to
Chris. Thank you, Chris, in the control room right now.
In the control room.
So, and like we've been talking about, new poetry and reggae nights called Jam Rock Wednesdays is happening at Rocksteady in Denver starting May 29th. We have every Wednesday, guys. So if anybody wants to partner with us in Denver, holla at us for real, because we have Wednesdays, okay, at Rocksteady. Shout out to Tessa. Shout out to all of the people over at Rocksteady who've been working with us diligently and very, very much so behind the scenes to get this
50 cent wings too, man.
50 cent wings. I know us black people love our 50 cent wings.
$5 effing shot.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with 50 cent wings.
Right, you can't go wrong with 50 cent wings. But yeah, guys, so stay tuned. Poetryandreggae.com. Get your tickets. $5 entries before 6. They will sell out. The Original Woman is our headliner that day, so come out, support. Every Wednesday, we got you. Denver, we're here as a community. We're going to the South soon, so Atlanta, be on the lookout. I see you. I see you, Atlanta, tuning in. ATL be coming soon. North Carolina be coming soon. South Carolina be coming soon. Philly, I'll be back.
This one is for the 843, man.
Yes.
I love my city. This is for the Geechee. This is for the Gullah. This is for everyone in my city, man. I hope this is inspiring to y'all because one of us got to be the ones that come back and do this, man. So this is for the Carolinas. It's our time now. We may not had it in the previous years, but it's our time now to come as one. Shout out to New York. You know, we got a lot of family in New York,
Bridging
too.
the gap between Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And Long Island.
Long Island, Brooklyn, Queens, Harlem.
Right, whatever.
Bridge that gap. And shout out to Phoenix as well. I mean, that's my second home. So, you know, we want to bridge that gap between Phoenix and Denver as well. You know, it's believe it or not, Phoenix is a $50 flight here. So, like, if you want to come out here to Denver and build that gap, that gap, fly out with us. We're gonna be out here a lot more.
All right, guys. I think Chris is probably gonna kick us out soon. But it's been real, Denver. It's been real live on Instagram, live on Facebook.
Music on the way out.
Let's totally play some Declaration on the way out.
On the way out, we're gonna let y'all vibe out.
Exactly. Our live tuner people. I can't talk right now. Oh my gosh. Our live people tuning in. You can't hear it, but Declaration, William Speaks on the beat.
On the way out, man. Make
the
sure
way
y'all go
out.
get that William Speaks with a Z.
I'll send out the Facebook link to the actual interview.
Tag Donald Trump. Tag everybody.
Tag Donald Trump. Tag Jaden Smith.
I wrote a
Everybody.
Tag
letter
everybody.
to the president. Says
I
what's
can't
really
hear
going
it.
on. Why my people die every time I pick up the phone. And Flint water trash, no defibrillators barred. Mr. President, why won't you answer when we call? And brothers dying every day along the boulevard. And Jack's dealt for kings and queens to spar with. Notice the monarchy. Tremble at the thought of hierarchy. Trying to starve me, a rising star. Seen a couple heavy showers from where I be. You see, these stormy weathers molded us. We Mother Nature's offspring. Achilles ain't resilient as ours be. Our ancestors in the slave ship waited in the cold crease for freedoms that they won't speak of. Fuck the silence, I won't hold my tongue. I'll sing them songs unsung and be the one son. Flicker with shine, diamondless all blood. Roll the dice, here's a chance to give it your all, bruh. Cause life's a gamble in the scheme of it all. We all live and we die, but really who's had it all? It's a facade, pick up the bar, set it upon the stars. With these bars, won't be ignored, meteoric. You're a city to the president. Says what's really going on. And why my people die every time I pick up the phone. And Flint water trash, no defibrillators barred. Mr. President, why won't you answer when we call? President, says what's really going on. And why my people die every time I pick up the phone. And Flint water trash, no defibrillators barred. Mr. President, why won't you answer when we call? People, the truth is written in our history. The blood-soaked soils that we tread upon to get along. The difference between our tones was never a mystery. But why should you look at me funny? Fuck with me differently because of my color. Remember games said they spending 30 million on some airplanes, and still that shit gets to me. Cause literally there were kids starving and pistols sparking, niggas talking. My madness star switch, I'm cool and calm shit. I'm with the squadron and we dissolve it. Hate absolving, love indulgent. One before us kids too clever, just do better. You knew better. Raised in the South with that tough love, no spoon fed us. Lot of ass whooping serenades, the gullah hammer. I'm Geechee from the dirty, never let up. I attack with a vengeance and dispense all of the henchmen. And then that's it, fair. Mercy
30
not
minutes,
existent,
30
bring my
seconds.
shit jam. President,
Hi, I love you.
what's really going on?
Peace, love,
And why my
prosperity.
people
Love and
die every time
prosperity.
I pick up the phone. And Flint water trash, no defibrillators barred.
Mr. President.
Why won't you answer when we call?
Mr. President.